Next at noon, we're taking you live to the Kennedy Space Center as NASA officials provide an update on the upcoming Artemis 2 mission when this rocket is set to launch. Plus, the problems this cold weather is causing for some local schools.
This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at noon. Coverage you can count on.
Right now on Eyewitness News at noon, after an icy weekend, we're not out of this cold weather stretch just yet. This is a live look right now across Central Florida. The bitter cold continues to linger today. It may not look or feel like it, but a warm up is on the way, Central Florida. Thanks for joining us. I'm Darlene Jones. Let's get you caught up now with the weather this afternoon with certified meteorologist Daniel McFarland in Severe Weather Center 9. And Daniel, normal temperatures will make a return this week.
It's nice to hear that. By about Wednesday, we should be right back to the 70s for just one day before another cool down. But I do want to talk about the changes that we're seeing, because if you go outside right now, it's still very chilly. Many of us are in the upper 40s, lower 50s, and the reason why we're seeing a 12-degree temperature difference from this time yesterday has everything to do with the fact that it was very cold. We saw some of the lowest high temperatures in quite a long time, and as you can see, we're struggling to even get over 50 degrees for the city of Orlando so far. We're sitting at 48. I still think we have potential to get in between about 53 and 55 depending on where you are. If you're up in Ocala, 47 over there. Even along the coast, mid-40s for you along Volusia County's coast over there. The wind chill's not so bad, and I think this is going to be the biggest change that you notice today, because obviously it's still going to be nice and chilly, but that wind chill is only a few degrees lower than our actual temperatures, because if you were outside at any point over the last few mornings, Darlene, you know just how cold it was, and that wind made it feel just so much worse. I'll talk more about these changes coming up.
All right, thanks, Daniel. And some of our local schools are dealing with heat and water issues this afternoon. Students at Rosemont Elementary in Orlando had no running heat to start the day. And Channel 9's Nick Papantonis is live at Whispering Oak Elementary in Winter Garden, where they started with no running water. Nick, within the last hour, repairs there were complete.
Yeah, this morning they had been giving the students in the cafeteria bottles of water just to fix the issues at this school. Like I said, everything back online as of right now. So that leaves us with three schools, that have issues right now. You mentioned Rosemont Elementary. They got the heat. I'll talk about that in a moment. We have two schools offline at the moment. Summer Lake Elementary down in the Horizon West area. That school is closed today while they deal with an irrigation issue that is affecting their pipes and the water service to the school. There's also Mineola Charter School out in Mineola. They are closed today because pipe bursts and affected about half their building. That school is going to be online, and students will be back tomorrow. Summer Lake is not confirmed yet, but there is optimism that they'll be back in school as well. It leaves us with Rosemont. They've got the heating issues. Students have been moved from the colder parts of the building to the warmer parts of the building, and the maintenance staff there is working on it. So we did check around with our other school districts. There are some minor issues. Osceola County has a couple of buildings where there's classrooms without heat. Those students have been relocated to warmer parts. And then Marion County told me they had a couple of pipe bursts that did not affect the whole building, so they are taking care of those. Live in Winter Garden, Nick Papantonis, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Nick. The below freezing temperatures hit Central Florida farmers hard right now. They're assessing the damage to their crops. Our Severe Weather Team 9 coverage continues with Channel 9 Sam Martello live at the Showcase of Citrus in Claremont. And Sam, they're preparing for another cold night.
Freezing temperatures are expected here at the Showcase of Citrus again tonight. If you want to go ahead and take a look at this, you can already see a broken branch on this tree. Farmers we spoke with say it's really going to be a waiting game to see how badly their crop was impacted. Bushell says the assessment will continue over the coming days and weeks. She hopes the damaged branches can be trimmed and most of the trees will be salvaged. In Claremont, Sam Martello, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Oh, the Florida Department of Transportation was on standby with crews and equipment to help protect our roads across the state. Channel 9 anchor Alexa Lorenzo shows us how the state prepared for the freeze and what comes next as Florida starts to warm up. All right, you can still send us your pictures of the frost and ice from this past weekend and maybe this morning. It's simple. Just pull out your cell phone and scan the QR code there on the left of your screen, or go to WFTV.com/share your pics, and you can also email them to news@WFTV.com. The state of Florida will receive an additional $480 million in disaster recovery funding from FEMA. More than $10 million will be used for projects here in Central Florida. The city of Sanford will receive $5 million to repair its damage from the marina there during storms, and Flagler County will receive over $4 million for its dune restoration project. Happening today, fencing is going up around the site of the Pulse nightclub ahead of construction of a permanent memorial there. Demolition starts next month. During construction, the temporary memorial will not be open to the public. However, there is a location being set up to place flowers during construction. The next update for that permanent memorial is scheduled for March 5th. We'll keep you posted. The man accused of attacking a woman in a College Park neighborhood and violating his parole will be in an Orange County courtroom in just over an hour. Tyler Fight was 3 weeks into his probation when Orlando police arrested him again in December of last year. Police say he missed a required evaluation and wasn't supposed to return to that College Park neighborhood. Police say he attacked a jogger in April of last year. A former Brevard County principal accused of hosting a house party involving underage drinking returns to court in about an hour. Police say Elizabeth Hill Brodigan, who you see here, the former principal at Roosevelt Elementary School, hosted the party last January. She and another teacher were arrested and charged with child neglect. Her sentencing hearing was delayed from last week until today. The judge wanted more time for prosecutors to collect impact statements. Channel 9 will be in the courtroom for that hearing, and we'll bring you a live update on Eyewitness News at 4. If you live in Maitland and use the city water, you'll want to boil it before you use it. A mechanical issue at a water plant yesterday caused pressure to drop below safety standards. Water will be tested each day and must come back clean and safe to use 2 days in a row. Until then, officials are urging customers to boil water for drinking, cooking, or brushing your teeth. And we continue our countdown this afternoon to the next mission to the moon. This is a live look right now over at the Kennedy Space Center. NASA working right now to launch the Artemis II mission into space with 4 astronauts on board. Right now, crews are conducting what's known as a rehearsal. The earliest launch opportunity for the Artemis II mission is now Sunday, February 8th. This will be the first manned mission to the moon in more than 50 years. And Crew 12 is also preparing for launch from our Space Coast. The international crew will launch to the International Space Station as early as February 11th, but all of that depends on the Artemis II schedule and when it takes off. Mission managers say they are working every day to make sure there's no conflict.
So that we'll be ready to launch Crew 12 at the earliest opportunity after Artemis II either launches or moves to a later launch window.
The cold weather forced NASA to delay that wet dress rehearsal happening for Artemis II. That was planned for Saturday, but again happening right now over there along our coast. U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth stopped by the Rocket Park campus in Cape Canaveral this morning. It was part of Hegseth's Arsenal of Freedom tour, a department initiative aimed at reviving America's defense industry. Secretary Hegseth emphasized the need for fast production of defense-related technology and supporting manufacturing workers, and says that's critical to supporting our troops.
We own the responsibility to do right by them and all the men and women who serve, to ensure that when they're used properly and overwhelmingly and effectively, that we have their backs no matter what.
Secretary Hegseth visited other defense manufacturers, including SpaceX in California and Texas, since that tour has started last month. A former Lake County commissioner has died. Lady Lake Commissioner John Gorley, who you see here, passed away this morning. He was 74 years old. He was first elected in 2022 and re-elected in 2024. The town told Channel 9 that Commissioner Gorley worked many jobs throughout his life and that he was well known among friends and family for his musical talent.
Now I'm sitting out here delivering 1 million packages to him, 1 million.
A new viral video capturing the moment an Amazon delivery driver was heated while on the clock. Find out what it was that annoyed him so badly there. Daniel.
And we do have another freeze warning for overnight tonight. And this is likely going to be the last one we're expecting, Darlene, so we do have some positive changes.
Plus, it's time to pay rent. What you can do if it's getting hard to pay up.
WFTV Tonight gets you ready for what's ahead.
Breaking news stories that will make tomorrow's headlines. A forward-looking, accurate forecast to help you plan for tomorrow.
You'll be ready to start the next day.
Before your head hits the pillow tonight.
And new at noon, an Orange County father was arrested for child neglect and driving under the influence. Channel 9's Valerie Boy is live off Aloma Avenue near Goldenrod Road where he was arrested. And Valerie, you just got new details from the arrest report.
That's right, Darlene. It was actually the child who called 911 concerned for the safety of himself as well as his father. Again, James King is charged with child neglect and DUI. Reporting live in Orange County, Valerie Boy for Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
A massive fire at an old hotel in Osceola County destroyed the property. Investigators say the fire started in an old laundry facility here on the site. They believe it may have been used as a homeless encampment. The fire, the cause of it, has not yet been determined. The good news here, no one there was hurt. And some Marion County residents are being asked to stay away from this area of East McKinney Street and North William Street. A railroad tire fire caused what they believe to be toxic smoke in the air yesterday. It's recommended that people with respiratory issues, children and older adults stay away from the site and limit activities outdoors. A man is being honored as a hero tonight for his brave actions during a violent attack. Joseph Wells will be recognized at the City Commission meeting at City Hall in DeLand. Officials say he stepped in to save a young man who was being attacked at a school bus last month. He held down the suspect until police arrived there on the scene. City leaders say his courageous act may have saved a life. Life-saving overdose medication is now easier to obtain in Volusia County. Nonprofit Foundations to Freedom says there is a new Narcan vending machine at Iglesia Missionary on South Center Street in Pearson. Narcan helps reverse the impacts of an overdose. 6 vending machines have been placed throughout the county. More than 2,683 free cartons of Narcan have been dismissed. Disney is reporting a successful holiday season thanks in part to its cruises. Company officials say domestic revenue increased by the end of the first financial quarter in December. They say it was in part due to more people booking cruises on the Disney Treasure and Port Canaveral. Overall revenue for the company for the first quarter was $26 billion. That's more than $1 billion from this same time last year. Well, the cold weather continues to just linger here around Central Florida, so those manatees are packing it in at Blue Springs State Park. This is a live look right now at the manatees now hovering around the spring, where it stays 72 degrees year-round, making it a safe haven for the manatees. Park officials say this is one of the best times to see them huddled together. I think they're nearing 1,000 over there.
It wouldn't surprise me with as cold as it is.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
We went through this like, what, a week or two ago. We were showing them off in the morning, and they were just building and building and building.
Yes, that's what they do.
Yep, there's going to be a ton of them out there, I think, for the next couple days. Yep. But thankfully, Darlene, things are going to warm up for us a little bit over the next little bit. But it does seem like the cold we're not entirely done with just yet. What we're going to be expecting is more seasonable temperatures to return at least just for Wednesday. Now, once we get to Thursday, there's going to be another cool down, but it's going to be very minor. We're not going to get down below freezing for the vast majority of the region. And then we're going to be having a small rain chance with that as well. So just keep in mind, tomorrow morning, a handful of spots could be reaching the freezing point. I don't think it happens everywhere, even though we have that freeze warning in effect. We really struggled to get down to that number this morning, and I think it's going to be an even bigger struggle for early tomorrow. Now, I do want to point out with this next front, there is going to be a small rain chance. I'll touch on that in more detail here in just a moment. But just walking you through the temperatures today. Mid-50s, that's, I think, going to be the upper limit for our highs for this afternoon. We're struggling to even get to 50 right now, so don't be surprised if Orlando ends up stopping, say, around 52 or 53 at this rate. We will cool off rather quickly by about 9 o'clock or so this evening. If you're going to be outdoors, a handful of spots are going to be into the 30s. And as I was mentioning, a lot of areas are going to struggle to actually get down to freezing for tonight. But if it happens, look at spots north of Orlando. Another thing of good news for us, the wind is not going to be as big of a deal for the vast majority of our region today. That being said, if you're in southern Brevard County or Osceola County, you might be having a bit of a wind chill. Everyone else is starting to see that wind really move out, which is going to be some good news here. Now the main thing we're tracking is the dry air, so don't expect to see a lot of clouds over the next few days. We're going to see high pressure building over a spot like Panama City, and that's just going to kind of drift around our region and then eventually shift over towards the east just a bit. Once it does that, we are going to be seeing a south wind return, and that's going to help us warm up. But then a front's going to come wipe a lot of that out. By the time we get to, say, late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, that'll be our best chance of rain right here. And just like with this last system, we're not tracking severe weather or any kind of heavy rain values. But you do see what happens to those temperatures afterwards, Darlene, getting down to 39 early on Friday, right back up to the 70s by Saturday. So it's going to be a much, much more minor cool down than what we're seeing right now.
All right, thanks, Daniel. Video you just have to see this afternoon. Orange County deputies trying to wrangle this deer. What happened when they managed to get it out? But first, prices are creeping back up at the gas pump. Why the cold weather is to blame. A major change for those of you at home who need to get a driver's license. The test will soon only be offered in English. Exams were previously provided in 6 different languages for non-commercial licenses. The Florida Department of Highway Safety made the decision last week that the change will take effect this Friday. The new rules state the test takers must complete any exam in English and without an interpreter. Prices are rising at the pump. The average price for a regular gallon of gas is at $2.91. That's 6 cents more than it was last Monday. Gas prices slowly climbed last week after people started filling up their cars before the winter storm. Prices also went up after the storm disrupted some crude oil production and refinery operations. An Amazon driver was caught on camera airing out his frustrations over delivering packages on a cold day in Michigan, and now the video is going viral. Christian Ford reports the driver is venting about doing his job. Wow. That is unbelievable. Well, the video has sparked discussion online about workplace professionalism and the challenges faced by delivery drivers during harsh winter conditions. Well, if this cold snap is hurting your wallet, you're not alone. What you can do to save money and stay warm. But first, health experts got their eyes on Florida as they continue to watch flu cases rise. Why you could get sick even if you've already had the flu this cold season.
This Tower Cam Shot, sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Watch Eyewitness News from any device with Eyewitness News live stream. Sponsored by Bogan Munz & Munz. No gimmicks, just results.
The government right now is currently partially shut down. The U.S. Senate reached an agreement on Friday on a funding bill, but it won't be official until it passes the House and is signed by President Donald Trump. The legislation funds most agencies for the year except for Homeland Security, which only gets 2 weeks of funding while Congress works out any sort of reforms they can agree on regarding immigration operations. Today, the 5-year-old boy detained by immigration agents in Minnesota last month is back home. His case ignited questions and controversy. ABC's Lionel Moyes has more. And this also just into our newsroom. A measles outbreak has been reported at the Texas immigration facility where a young boy was being held there. The Department of Homeland Security says 2 detainees tested positive. They were immediately quarantined to prevent spreading the illness. This news comes just days after measles was confirmed in a detainee at an Arizona immigration facility. With immigration raids and the response to them dominating the news, experts say exposure to them could take a toll on children's mental health. They're advising parents to watch for sudden mood changes that go beyond what's typical for a child or teenager. Experts also say parents should also have an open and honest conversation about the issue.
In the age of social media, kids are oftentimes learning information through their friends or things that they see on the website or overhear in the news.
For families who are not directly impacted, psychologists recommend focusing on areas that the child and the family can actually control directly. New data shows flu activity has increased. According to the Centers for Disease Control, 29 states now reporting an increase in cases, including right here in Florida. Majority of the recent positive cases have been within children. If you've already had the flu this year, it's possible to get it again if you can actually catch another strain. There have been more than 50 deaths so far this flu season. It's become a thing to watch out for during cold snaps in Miami. Cold stunned iguanas. Take a look at this, falling out of trees. These iguanas are native to tropical Central and South America, which means they have no adaptations for cold weather like what we are dealing with. But there is no need to worry. They'll come out of their coma, so to speak, once the weather warms back up. And we are headed toward warmer weather a bit later this week. Let's check in with certified meteorologist Daniel McFarland. Severe weather center 9.
Yeah, isn't that going to be nice to talk about, Darlene? A bit of a warm up headed our way. Current temperatures, though, for just about everyone are still in the 40s. In fact, if you look at it outside, it looks nice and clear and we're starting to warm up a bit, but we're still stuck in the upper 40s out there. One thing that held us back this morning is how dry it was outside. Look at that humidity value down at 22%. It is very rare that we see values like that, but that's going to be what helps us warm up over the next few days is going to be the drier air. At least for the day today, this is what we're tracking for you. For those of you in Volusia County, mid 50s at absolute most, still a tad bit breezy in southern Brevard County, but everyone else is starting to calm down with these winds, including the city of Orlando, where you're looking at a high of 55. But remember, the wind chill will not be that much of a factor from this point forward. So yes, Darlene, it's still going to be cold for tomorrow morning, but it's not going to be that bitter cold that we've been dealing with the last few days. I'll talk more about this warm up and even talk about that rain chance coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Daniel. We're following breaking news just into our newsroom. Take a look at this. Drone 9 just spotted what Lake County deputies are calling a sinkhole. This in the area of Empire Church Road and Groveland near Bear Lake Road. Now, it's unclear if there are any farms or anything in this area, but it will be interesting to note because, as we know, farmers have had to spray massive amounts of water there, working to protect their crops there in this coal, and that massive extraction of water lowers the water table there very quickly and can trigger what we see here. They're urging anyone who uses the area to take an alternative route, including buses will have to do so as school lets out this afternoon. We will continue to monitor this, but again, a massive sinkhole opening up there on Empire Church Road in Groveland. Orange County deputies were called to a home after an unexpected visitor came crashing in. We'll show you the chaotic body camera video showing you the moment deputies were able to help this deer. Oh boy.
Prescription drug prices are on the rise. For some, it's become a struggle to survive.
Healthcare is expensive.
Action 9's Jeff Deal reveals how to find deals on the drugs you need to stay alive. Live today at 5 on Eyewitness News.
Closed captioning on Eyewitness News is sponsored by Farah and Farah.
Martha Sigalski, Greg Wormuth, and Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry on Channel 9.
Renters have been reaching out to Action 9 attorney Jason Stujenki about problems with paying their rent each month, but moving isn't easy or cheap. Jason shares what renters everywhere need to know. All right, let's take a look at this video from Orange County deputies. A deer crashing through a living room window and into someone's kitchen. Poor guy, just seems like he can't get up there. The body camera video shows deputies trying to wrangle the struggling deer there on the floor. They eventually got him out safely, and there it goes, releases the deer back into the woods where he or she belongs. Even freezing temperatures couldn't stop the party in Tampa as thousands lined the streets for the iconic Gasparilla Parade. Coming up, how pirates and parade goers bundled up to celebrate the tradition. Daniel?
And it's clear across all of Central Florida, and it's going to continue to be clear, and that will have a huge impact on our temperatures for the next 36 hours. I'll talk more about that coming up.
Tonight's primetime lineup on WFTV is brought to you by your local Southeast Toyota dealers.
This cold snap we're in could come with a hefty price tag. Channel 9's Sabrina Majori shows us how cranking up the heat may spike your energy bill. All right, and if you're like me, you definitely had the heat cranked up this weekend and into this morning.
It's still needed out there, even on right now. I wouldn't blame anyone for that, Darlene, because of the way these temperatures are. It's still going to be cold for tomorrow morning, so we're not quite done, but we are going to see a little bit of a warm up. I'll have full details on this coming up in 15 seconds.
The way to screw up your case is to have a lawyer who doesn't sincerely care about you. Because a lawyer who cares is going to do everything he can to make sure that you get everything you're entitled to. It doesn't get more fairer than that.
Now looking ahead, I am tracking more cold air for tomorrow morning with lows getting back down into the 30s. The good news is that I don't think everyone's going to get down to the freezing point anymore. We're going to see the slow warm up over the next couple days. That being said, keep in mind we still do have a freeze warning in effect for overnight tonight into tomorrow, and this should be the last one. So more good news is that the wind chill isn't going to be that much of a factor either, as I'll show you here in just a moment. And for those of you that like the cold weather, don't worry, there will be another big cool down. It's not going to be as extreme as what we just saw, but it is going to be noteworthy, and I'll even talk about those rain chances for you in just a bit too. Temperatures for this afternoon likely stopping in the low to mid 50s. I'm looking at 53 to 54 for the city of Orlando. Once you get around, say, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, that's when a handful of spots could get down into the upper 30s. Again, it's not going to be everyone getting down to the freezing point, but if it happens anywhere, I'm looking at Lake, Sumter, and Marion counties to have the best chance. Potentially even a spot like Sanford or Orlando for that matter. It all depends on how warm our high temperature gets, because the warmer we can be during the afternoon, the less time we have to cool down to the freezing point out there. As I mentioned before, the wind chill is not going to be that much of a factor from this point forward for the vast majority of the area. And I do want to point out Osceola and southern Brevard counties. That is still where we're looking at some breezes between 20 and 25 miles per hour. So if there is anywhere with a wind chill for the rest of the day today, that's going to be the spot to watch. But by tomorrow morning, all the wind should be gone. So that's going to be some good news. Things are still going to be dry, so don't expect a lot of cloud cover over the next bit. But that should change come Wednesday. At that point, there's going to be a front that helps wipe away that high pressure center. And then we're going to be tracking a round of rain that should be arriving overnight Wednesday into Thursday. It's not a great chance, about 30 to 40% chance depending on where you live. And I think a lot of it's going to be wrapped up by about 9 to 10 a.m. as of right now. So things are looking pretty good during that day. We're not looking at severe weather or even thunderstorms yet with any of these systems, but it will be cooling us off. We'll be right back down to say 39 or so for a low temperature on Friday morning. And for those of you that are waiting on the sunshine and warmer air to return, Saturday and Sunday, Darlene, are looking fantastic. 70 and 74, and morning lows are still going to be a little bit chilly for those of you that like those cooler temperatures.
All right, thanks. Here are today's local steals and deals. Each and every year, we wait to see what the groundhog decides if winter will drag on for another 6 more weeks. His forecast straight ahead.
Breaking news coverage on Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
A woman was shot near an elementary school this afternoon.
The suspect may actually still be inside a home there.
They have this whole area blocked off. The sheriff's office says this was a domestic violence shooting.
All across Central Florida.
Police investigating an officer-involved shooting at a bank in Orange City.
Police had to shoot a suspect here.
Shot was fired. We rendered aid at the time, secured him and rendered aid.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
We continue to follow that breaking news in Lake County this afternoon. Take a look. This is a video from Drone 9 recorded just within the last hour or so. What Lake County deputies down below are calling a sinkhole on Empire Church Road in Groveland. This is near Bears Lake Road. Deputies say school buses and, of course, drivers will need to use alternative routes this afternoon. We'll be working to find out what may have caused this, and we'll have an update on Eyewitness News at 4. And here's a look at some of the other stories we'll be working on for Eyewitness News at 4 o'clock. Today, students in Central Florida are battling the cold as several schools are without working heat during this cold blast. The cold also impacting water pressure at some campuses. What districts are doing right now to get those repairs done quickly. Also today, a boy calls 911. He says in fear for his life. What investigators say his father was doing that led to him being charged with child neglect. And take a peek at stocks this afternoon. They are up. We'll have the closing figures on Eyewitness News at 4.
Stocks are brought to you by the personal injury firm of Todd Minor Law.
Oh, the cold didn't stop the party in Tampa as Pirates took over for the Gasparilla Parade. Saturday's temperatures were in the 50s, but that didn't keep the crowds away from the city's favorite tradition. Bundled up in coats, hats, and blankets, thousands lined the streets for the celebration. Even the mayor joined in on the fun, showing that a little chill can't sink the ship.
Look at this crowd. I mean, even if it's cold weather for us, it's a great day here.
Organizers say the world's only fully rigged pirate ship is in Tampa for the celebration.
There is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound.
Oh boy, a groundhog from Pennsylvania made his annual forecast this Groundhog Day. They saw the shadow there, meaning there will be, as you heard, 6 more weeks of winter. Phil tends to predict a longer winter far more often than an early spring. This annual tradition dates back more than a century with ties to ancient farming traditions in Europe. All right, I know our friends up north are happy to hear that. Hopefully our winter won't be that bad if we've got 6 more weeks.
Well, I think if we're going through it, I think we had 6 weeks of winter in about 2 days at this point. So I think it's time for summer, Darlene, out there. Well, for us, things are going to be warming up slightly, but it's certainly going to look like a winter forecast for you over the next 7 days. A high of 55 today, staying lower than 75 on each one of these days coming up. But you do see a few days in the 70s. I think Wednesday is going to be the best day over the next week. It's not going to be too windy just yet, because once you get to say Friday and Saturday, it's still going to be a tad bit breezy. And yes, that small chance of rain on Thursday is going to be there. I wouldn't cancel any outdoor plans, because once you get to the morning hours, a lot of that rain's going to be wrapping up. So things looking pretty good for us.
All right, thanks. I've never been so happy to see 70 something on that.
I know, right?
Thanks for watching Eyewitness News at noon. GMA 3, what you need to know is next. We'll see you back here for Eyewitness News at 4.
This time and temperature is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of South Orlando.